What's up, Sober Family? Welcome back. This is another episode of Recovery Talk brought to you by Pro Recovery Power. Oh my gosh, I am still high on hope. I'm high on hope from last night's event with the SoCal Hope Dealers out there in Anaheim. A lot of you guys, I seen you guys there. I posted some pictures this morning, and I posted a bunch of other stuff to our story over here at PRP. It was awesome. I'm still high on hope. I have a hope over today, not a hangover, a hope over. But I hope everybody is doing well. I hope you guys are having a great start to your weekend. It's a beautiful day here in California. It's a little hot, but thank God for AC. But guys, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Today I have Abby on. She's my guest. I'm really looking forward to this. You know, first time I seen Abby was on she went live with the guys from Not So Anonymous podcast, and I was like, man, I gotta go live with this girl. It took me a few months to kind of build up the courage to ask her, but I did, and she said yes. So she's gonna be here today. We're gonna be talking recovery. She'll be telling her story, and we'll get into some Q&As as well. Hey Anna, hey guys, how are you guys doing? So without any further ado, guys, I'm going to get her in here and then we can get this party started. Hey!
Hi.
Hey, there you are. How's it going?
Hey. Good, thanks. How are you?
All right, I'm good. I was just talking about an event I was at last night in Anaheim, and it was so much people showed up. It's the launch of it's a nonprofit called SoCal Hope Dealers, and it was amazing. Like I have a hope over. I don't have a hangover. It's a hope over. I mean, there was
I love that.
so many people there, and it's crazy to think every single person there was clean and sober. I mean, it was amazing. Like I posted some pictures this morning and everything. But anyways, but thank you so much, for agreeing to, go live with me. I was just talking about the first time I seen you was on the Not So Anonymous podcast live. And then I started following you and I was like, oh man, look, you're like the queen of reels, you know? And I know we spoke about that yesterday about like how you come up with these ideas and everything for the reels, because I like the fact that you add humor to it. You don't take it so serious. Of course, addiction is a serious issue, but I forgot exactly how you put it. But basically, it kind of eases the blow. You know what I mean, with the humor and things like
Yeah.
that. We don't get stuck
Yeah.
in all that.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Like I feel like I have to retain a sense of humor about these
Yeah.
things. Like looking back on like my past life as someone who was using, like it's very traumatic. But like using a sense of humor kind of gives me an opportunity to take ownership
Yeah.
of my past. Yeah, and it just, it gives me a hope over.
Yeah.
Like it makes me hopeful, like going forward, because using humor when talking about my addictions and my recovery, like it just it makes makes me hopeful for the
Yes.
future.
Yeah. And
Oh,
and it
otherwise I'm going to be in therapy forever.
right. And like it's funny. I mean, it's really funny and it's true. So it's so good. And it brings hope. Somebody that can be having a bad day, who's in recovery, somebody trying to get sober, and they come across one of your reels. I mean, it's so relatable. If you ever struggled with any addiction, but specifically drugs and alcohol, you are very, very relatable. And it's humorous, it's funny. It's not like, wow, that makes me think like, wow, you can have fun sober. Look, she is joking about herself, and it's just so much hope comes out of that. So
Yeah,
thank you
yeah,
so
definitely.
much.
It really helps me. It really helps me like release shame and
Hmm.
guilt and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Last night, I met Dylan for the first time. We've been friends for so
Oh, did
long.
you?
Yeah. So I
Oh,
finally
that's so
met him in
lovely.
real life, like him and his family. And so he was like, bro, You wait for the live tomorrow because he knows we're going live. He's like, "Oh, bro, you're gonna love it. You're gonna love it. She's great." I was like, "I know. I cannot wait." You
That's
know?
awesome.
And a lot of people was messaging me about it as well, and a lot of people are excited for this one. But
That's
again,
great.
Abby, thank you so much. I really appreciate you. But before we get started, I just want to ask you a few questions. The first one is, how long have you been sober?
I've been sober for, it'll be 16 months tomorrow.
Oh, all right.
Yeah. I got
Wow.
sober on April Fool's Day. So it was like, hey everyone, I'm quitting drugs and alcohol, and like some people were like, it's a funny joke. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not joking.
What did you like prior to being in recovery and being sober? Were you always like had a sense of humor kind of person?
Oh yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. I've always had a sense of humor, and then also just part of my Britishness means that I'm just funny and self-deprecating, just who we are as people.
Okay.
We usually just make fun of ourselves, and now I'm sober, I get to make fun of my addiction. So
Right. Okay, awesome. Wow. I remember when I couldn't stay sober for 16 seconds. It's amazing. It's such a big
oh
deal. Oh,
god, yeah.
congratulations.
Thank you so
Um,
much.
the next question is, where are you from? I know a lot of people know where you're from, but I'll ask you anyway.
I'm from London. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool. And then the last question is, what was your choice in drink and or drug?
So alcohol is my biggest vice. Alcohol is my best friend and my worst enemy, and it's my life. Not anymore, obviously, but it was my life. It controlled every single aspect of my life. I made all my decisions
Uh-huh.
around drinking alcohol, and then because I was always drunk, and I didn't care about myself, and I didn't look after myself. I didn't care if I lived or died. So just any drug that was offered to me, I was
Yeah.
I would just do anything.
More,
But
more.
yeah. But yeah, alcohol is my main one.
Yeah. Hey, real quick, before we move forward, I just want to let the viewers know. So Abby's gonna tell her story for a sec, or not for a sec, but for a little while. And then at the end, I'm gonna ask her some questions. But if you guys have questions, I know I see some already in the comments. If you guys have a question, put them in the actual question box mark so I can see it and I can click on it. And at the end of it, then we can go through some of those questions too, if time permits. Okay, guys, thank you so much. So real quick. I just wanted to let everybody know. I always talk about PRP and who we are, what we're doing. So as of a few days ago, we are officially a nonprofit organization. We got the paperwork back, so we're really excited about that. We can really help people on a massive scale. We also have our own recovery meetings through Zoom on Wednesday nights at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And also, you guys obviously know I go live with other addicts, alcoholics. If you have a story to tell, please reach out, let me know, and we can make it happen. Last thing I want to talk about is our website. If you guys would be so kind, please go to our website. The link is in my bio, or you can go to prorecoverypower.com. On the bottom right-hand corner, if you're on your laptop or computer, it's going to say questionnaire. If you're on your phone, it's just a little circle with a pencil. If you click on that, and please, if you guys could answer, it's like 4 questions. It'll really help the vision of PRP move forward. So thank you guys so much. Now that we got that out of the way, Abby, I will give you the floor to tell us your story now.
Well, where to begin? Where to begin? Yeah, like my journey into addiction. I've always like wanted to escape my reality, you know. I like ever since I can remember, I just remember that I just hating myself, absolutely hating myself, and just hating life. And then
Yeah.
even as an adolescent, like a young kid, like
Mhm.
I didn't relate to anyone. I was in my head a lot,
Yeah.
a lot in my head, and I just always wanted to stop myself from thinking or just being in my own skin. So when I discovered drinking alcohol, I was like, oh great, like amazing, like I can. I can be so out of my head that I don't even remember being alive. It was fantastic. Yeah, so I as soon as I started drinking, I just loved it. I bloody loved it. I just couldn't believe how awesome this thing was. And then I don't know. I've gone through stages of like having a bit more self-esteem, and then it like reducing a little bit, and it just kind of like came in waves. It ebbed and flowed.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I think so I've always like struggled with depression, like quite severely. I got diagnosed last year with borderline personality disorder, which just made so much sense. I was like, oh my God, I wish someone told me this like 15 years ago. Bloody hell. Yeah. So just alcohol and going out, and also like being a teenager and kind of like being in my early 20s in London, like I wanted to live the party lifestyle. Like I didn't want to be ordinary. Like I never wanted to be ordinary. And so for me, drinking and doing drugs and putting myself in risky situations and all that, like that was me living this extraordinary life. And I had a lot of adventures, and I've got a lot of stories. But yeah. And then so about 10 years ago, I think, I was in London, and I was like, I'm bored of this now. Like, bored of what I'm doing, where I'm at. So I packed a backpack, flew to Thailand, and then I just went backpacking for like 10 years. I lived in Southeast Asia for a little bit. I lived in Australia. I lived in this is me escaping again. Like if I wasn't like just all aspects of my life I'd try and escape from. So I try and escape with drugs, with alcohol, and with my location, with the people I was around, like always changing, running away, like ignoring my problems and just starting again in a new place. And just my drug and alcohol abuse just got out of hand. Like, and it was so easy to like fly under the radar, because I have a support network back at home, and I do like travel as well. Or when I did travel, like I'm not doing any traveling anytime soon. That's like one way road to relapse for me. Like when I was like traveling from city to city, to countries to country, like people didn't realize that I had a problem, because they were just, oh, this is just what she's like. They didn't know me well enough, and when things got really bad, I just pack a bag and leave, and then meet a whole new bunch of people. And obviously my support network were at home. Everyone was back in the UK, and all they saw was pictures of me on Instagram, like on the beach, like woo. They didn't realize that I was idol. And I just over those 10 years, my mental health just diminished, just got worse and worse, to the point where, like about 2 years ago, I was living in New York with my boyfriend at the time. And my drinking got out of hand. He kicked me out at the end, like after a couple of months, because like I was just too dreadful. I was just too awful to live with. He kicked me out to Canada. I went to Canada, lived with a friend there. Like the first person I met was like this guy who was a recovering crack addict. And when I was super depressed at the time, like me and my boyfriend had just broken up, and I was just in a terrible place. First person I met, he was recovering crack addict. He was also depressed. So when we two like combined, it was like it was like the perfect storm. Like he was like, oh, I'm gonna start smoking crack again. Do you want some? And I was like, oh fuck yeah! Like, and we were just two depressed people, just making each other worse, like encouraging each other to get more depressed and smoke more crack. And we lived in this fucking crack den. It was horrible. And yeah, yeah, that was awful. And then I moved away from him because I was like, this is dreadful. Like, this is the worst I've ever been. Like, I'm so depressed. I'm, I'm, I can't stop smoking crack. I can't stop drinking. Like, it's awful. So I went to Vancouver Island, where I had another friend there, and I was like, oh, everything's gonna be great in Vancouver Island. Everything's gonna be perfect. All my problems are gonna be solved. Fantastic. Um, Nothing was solved. I was still just as depressed, just as miserable, just as out of control. I had no grip on my life, absolutely no grip. Like, I thought I thought, like, I'm a strong, confident woman, right? So
Mhm.
I had a handle on it. I was like, right, yeah, I can turn things around. I can turn things around.
Yeah.
As soon as I got to Vancouver Island, I just got like so out of my mind, drunk. Like, the crack wasn't there, but I was still just like, I don't know, but searching for oblivion anyway. Like, no matter the substance. Like, I was like, oh, there's no crack here, so I'll just drink more. Um,
Yeah.
then yeah, oh, things got really worse. Things got even worse. Until one night I tried to kill myself. I ended up in the psych ward, like the nearest psych ward. I was in this tourist town on Vancouver Island. The nearest psych ward was like a 4 or 5 hour drive away. So this ambulance had to come get me, and they strapped me up on this like journey, and we drove like 5 hours to this psych ward, and I ended up being there for like 3 days. And I'm like, oh my god, how the fuck did I get here? Oh, how has this happened? Like, so I was just like, yeah, in the psych ward, and then I went home. They took me back to where I was living. I was living in a trailer at the time, and the first thing that I did was just get drunk again. Like,
Yeah.
that wasn't a wake up call at all. Like, I got out of the psych ward. They were like, "Here's some Prozac. You're very sick. Look after yourself." And I was like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." And then I got back to my trailer, and I was just like, "I'm gonna get drunk." I did. And then I ended up losing my job. I was working at a barbecue restaurant. Um, oh, I hated that job. I hate it so much. I ended up getting fired from that job because I was blackout drunk. Like, the owner came in, and I was just like slumped behind the bar, like, hey. I can barely remember what happened. But like, I woke up the next morning in my uniform, in my clothes, like in my bed, still in my work uniform, and I was like, oh shit, what the fuck happened? And then I got called in the next day. He fired me, and then I was like, things are really going south for me now. like all these, like, oh, it was just one thing after the other. Like, I just kept on fucking up, like, because I was out of control, completely out of control. I hated myself. I was very, very depressed. Like, I just didn't want to be there anymore. I didn't want to be on earth anymore. I did not care, genuinely did not care if I lived or died. um and like, alarm bells started like ringing. I'm just like, this just can't go on. Like, I'm either gonna have to die for this to stop, or I'm gonna have to make the decision myself, or I'm gonna actually have to do it. Like, oh god. And then, so this time I didn't get drunk. I got stoned for a week, which was really fun. I watched Netflix for a week straight just getting stoned, and I was like, I can't think about this yet. That's when the pandemic started. um, and I went back to the UK, and I didn't go back to the UK with the intention of getting sober. But when I got back to the UK, I was back in my mum's house and got really again. And I was just thinking about like everything that had happened. Like, I was looking back on, like, I was just really, really reflective, really, really self-reflective, looking back on like the last 10 years. And then like, it's almost as if like a little voice in my head said, it doesn't need to be this way. Like, you don't have to do this anymore. Like, it doesn't, you can stop. And I was like, oh my god, I could stop. Yeah, so that's when I decided to get sober. And then 16 months later, I'm on a call with you.
Yeah. That's great. That's amazing, amazing story, that you got. Thank you so much. I couldn't really read. A lot of people were saying a lot of stuff. I couldn't read them, you know, at all. But you know, it's very relatable. You know, like, so you're from the UK, I am from Hawaii, but I live in California. But as you told your story, I can identify with pretty much everything you said of in regards to not just the drugs or drinking, that of course, but the depressed, how you felt. You hated yourself, contemplating suicide. Like, I mean, you separate me for drugs and alcohol, I still have all these things going on with me, and it's very relatable. You know, I know. I mean, I got sober in a 12-step program. I know you didn't. And but it doesn't matter. Like, to me, I don't care at all. Like, because I learned to focus on the similarities and not necessarily the differences. Because you know, I won't be able to take anything from it. Like anybody, even people that have less time than me, way less time, like I can learn from, and I learn from them. Like you know, I had to learn. So I had to learn how to listen with my ears and not with my mouth.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, I would listen with my mouth all the time. Bah, 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 you know, how to answer for everything. I know, I know, I know. You know, I knew everything. But you know, listening, I had to learn to listen and listen to learn, so I can continue, you know, to grow and to develop and to stretch myself and you know, be a better human being. Period. Because again, you separate me from drugs and alcohol, I can still manipulate you. I can still lie to you. I can steal all your stuff. Like, you know, the behaviors, the thinking never really changed necessarily, but I just sober. Like, I'm a sober thief now. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't want that. I didn't want that kind of life. Although the drugs and alcohol was really damaging my physical body, my mental health. Like, toward the end, like, I would see things. Like not like seeing ghosts. No. I would see like these dots in my eyes. You know what I mean? Like after a long night, or throughout, like I'm using during the day, I'll be driving. I can see like these blue dots. I'm like, oh my gosh, something's wrong. You know. But of course, drugs and alcohol was the last thing on the list, and I thought that's probably what it was. You know. And, you know,
Yeah.
it wasn't the first thing that came to my mind. You know.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's so relatable, Abby, and you're hilarious. Yeah, you know.
It's the dry humor, the self-deprecating humor. I
Yeah,
think.
yeah, man, you should be a comedian, like for real. You should have a YouTube page or something. I don't know, you know,
Maybe.
recovery comedian.
Yeah. So yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah. Oh, somebody else knows about those blue dots. Yeah,
Blue
and,
dots. I
and it
don't think
was
I've ever had the blue dots before.
yeah, and it was weird. Like if I was partying, like I was drinking, using all night. This kind of happened more so toward the end of my drinking and using career. I
Yeah.
would be weird. Like when I would walk, it literally felt like one leg was longer than the other. It was weird to
Wow.
me. I mean, yeah, I was all jacked up, man.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I am a totally different human being today. Thank God. But
Mm.
I don't like look at the past and try to forget it necessarily, because my experiences built me into the person that I am today. See, I
Oh
can
yeah.
look back at and overlook like the feelings that may come from that, like shame, guilt. I can overlook those things, but I can still see my experiences, because those things is the things that really helps push me and motivate me and inspire me to continue to carry the message and to continue to help other people that's struggling, with drugs, alcohol, mental health. So many different facets to addiction. So
Yeah.
many. It's not just drugs, alcohol. Oh my gosh, there's trauma. I mean, there's tons of stuff that leads
Yeah.
people, down that path.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. It's not a case of someone like no one like dream as a little kid is to become a drug addict.
Yeah,
Like,
no.
like it's not something that people want. It's like, oh, I just really want to be a drug addict. Like, it'd be lovely.
Right.
Um, yeah, it's not like you just wake up one morning and you're like, oh, you know what? I'm gonna destroy everything that I love, and I'm gonna hurt everyone around me. Like, there's so many complex reasons, and especially to do with mental health, why people like ourselves like end
Yeah.
up end up going down that road.
Yeah, tons, like physical abuse, sexual abuse, molestation. I mean, low self-esteem, but like these are all like, can spider web out all these different,
Yeah.
topics I'm talking about, that leads to addiction, but there was always something, because I work in treatment too. I'm a counselor, and there's I have never ever, since I've been in recovery and being a counselor, I've never ever met somebody that used drugs and alcohol just because it was fun, just
Yeah.
because I really liked it. I liked the effect it produced, but that's not it. There was something behind it. Every single person
Mhm.
I've ever talked to, it was always something like, it could be again, molestation. It could be low self-esteem, not comfortable in my own skin. I'm introverted. I want to be like that person, but I cannot talk like them. So that's my story. I'm naturally,
Yeah.
hard to believe, but I'm introverted. Naturally, I'm introverted. I wasn't into my past career in business to where I had to public speak and teach. That's where I
Mhm.
learned how to do all this stuff. But even to this day, like I'm still very much like, if I'm around other sober people, if I'm around people in recovery, like man, that switch turns on and it stays on. But like even around
Mhm.
like people who are not necessarily alcoholics, addicts, like family, friends, or even my own family, like I'm not over there, chatting everybody up. I'm not, but
Mhm.
anything recovery, like boom, that switch turned on, and I can't shut
Yeah.
up about it.
Passion.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
Oh, I
exactly.
love
And like,
that.
because for me, a purpose was birthed through my addiction, and
Yeah.
it's hard to explain to somebody that necessarily that they never found their purpose yet. Like once you find your purpose, like it's
Mhm.
much more than commitment, dedication, motivation, inspiration. I mean, it's purpose. It gets me up in the morning and it keeps me up
Yeah.
at night. It my dreams, and they don't make me go sleep. It keeps me up, man. Like last night I was talking about, went to that big event down in Anaheim. I had a hard
Mm.
time sleeping last night, man. Oh my gosh, I'm just so excited for the future and
So
everything.
inspired.
Yeah, yeah. Like, and
Love
my
that.
wife knows. Everybody who knows me, they know I can do stuff. Recovery, I can do it all day long, and
Yeah.
I don't get tired of it. I don't get worn out. And I mean, I give God, all the glory and the credit for that, because I
Mhm.
left to my own devices, man, I can screw your life up. I can screw that person's. I can screw everybody's life up. No problem.
Mhm.
You don't even need to give me drugs and alcohol. If I turn my
Yeah.
mind loose, oh, all bets are off. All bets are off.
Yeah.
Nobody's safe. Nobody's safe. You know? Yeah, yeah. But as we kind of winding down, wait, let me check. Look, there's some questions in here. I have questions of my own. I'll go back and forth. I'll ask you one first. So,
Sure.
um, first question, Abby, is what was the most difficult part of getting sober for you?
Um, Probably making the decision to get sober.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, that's it. The actual decision to get sober.
Yeah.
Like, I knew for many years that I had an unhealthy relationship with
Uh-huh.
drinking drugs.
Yeah.
Like I'd go out for dinner with a friend or something, and we'd share a bottle of wine, and then like 2 months later, sorry, 2 weeks later, I'd still be drunk, like from that
Yeah.
night.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is, I knew that's not how like regular people with healthy minds like operated. Like I knew that was
Yeah.
wrong. I just ignored it for so long, and I pushed it out of my mind for so long. Like
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to get sober. I didn't want to face who I was. I didn't want to look
Yes.
inside. I didn't
Yeah.
want to. I didn't want to do any self. Like I didn't want to reflect on myself. Like because I was
Mm-hmm.
really scared of what I'd find. Because I hated myself, and I was like, yeah, if I got sober, then I knew that I'd have to
Yeah.
kind of face up to who
Yeah.
I was underneath
Right.
all the education. So
Yeah.
like actually making the decision to get sober was the most difficult thing.
Yeah. And I like how
I'm
you.
actually to this day I'm still surprised that I fucking did it and I still
Yeah.
made that decision. I remember saying to my brother once, I remember saying like a few years ago, I remember saying, oh, I'd rather be miserable and be able to drink than not drink.
Uh-huh. Be miserable and sober.
So I'd
Yeah.
rather be miserable and keep on drinking than
Oh.
not. Sorry, I said that wrong? Oh, I'm an idiot. I'd rather wait, hold on, let me start again.
Okay.
I'd rather be miserable and still be drinking than not drinking.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't want to be happy and sober. I'd rather be miserable than happy and sober.
Oh, okay, yeah, makes sense.
Got
Makes a
there
lot of
eventually.
sense.
Been
Yeah,
a long day.
yeah, and I know, yeah, and just so you guys know, Abby is 8 hours ahead of me. It's only 12:30 p.m. right now where I'm at. It's 8:30 p.m. her time. But I like the way that you described that and you broke it down. It wasn't just like making a decision. Yeah, next question. Like you broke it down and it made so much sense because words like homicide, suicide, decide. Once you decide, there's no coming back. Once you homicide, you can't come back. Suicide, you can't come back. Decide, you already made a decision. You moving forward now. See, a lot of people, we think we make decisions, but it's more along the lines of resolutions or wishful thinking. Like when we make a decision and we do it, that's how we know we made the decision. And it wasn't based off this fuzzy feeling on the inside, or you know what I mean? Or it could have been that gift of desperation. A lot of people, they talk about that they have received, and that wake up call, the car accident, loss of a loved one, hospitalization, jail, institution. That's fun, huh? Yeah. But okay, let's see. There's some questions in here. Okay, I don't know who was first. Okay, I'm just gonna start, I guess. I don't know who asked the questions first. But first question, I'll read from the top, Abby. So it says, now that you are sober, how has it changed your life? So how has being sober changed your life?
It's like you completely changed it in every single way imaginable. Like I don't hate myself anymore. I've done a lot of work to not hate myself anymore. A lot of self-discovery, and a lot of work has gone into, like, I don't hate myself anymore. Like I love myself. I love who I am.
Yeah.
Like I'm a perfectly imperfect human. Like I love me. Great. First time in 33 years, like I can say that. I'm back in the UK. Like I put roots down. I'm not traveling anymore. I'm not living out of a backpack anymore. I'm not escaping. I'm not running away. I'm back in the UK. I'm back with my family. I'm like near to like my old friends. Like they all like make up my part of my support network. Like my friends who I've been friends for like 15 years. I have a career now. Like I have a job which I love. Like before I was working in hospitality, which I fucking hated, but it was the easiest job to do whilst the culture around working in hospitality, like it allowed you to be drunk or on drugs, and I could do it anywhere in the world. But I fucking hated working in restaurants. Ugh. But now I'm the job that I love. Now I work in marketing and I love it. I've got a really good relationship with my family now. I've been able to repair friendships. I've been able to like connect even like more deeper and in more meaningful ways to my friends and my family. And also I'm just so hopeful for the future. Like I'm looking forward to the future rather than dreading each coming day. Like now, I'm like, oh my god, I can't wait to see what's going to happen in a month's time. I'm excited about the future.
Yeah. Getting back to the question I just asked you, I forgot to mention this. About the most difficult part about getting sober. And I love the way how you described it, in your answers. It wasn't just a decision, because another part, you already knew that you will have to like really take an honest look in the mirror, and you're gonna have to find out some stuff about you that you probably don't like. In 12 steps, that part of the process happens usually when we hit the fourth step. Because that's when we got to put pen to paper. We look at ourselves. We go through different inventories, and any business that doesn't take normal or regular inventory usually will go broke. Same exact thing with us human beings. So somebody mentioned it somewhere in the comments, and that's what made me think about it. Because it's difficult. It's scary. So much fear will stop people from moving forward, and then they get stuck in that part of the process of recovery, and I'm going back out. You know, I'll go back out for a little while more, or whatever. You know, some they never come back. They end up
Yeah.
dying, or some do come back. You know, the fortunate ones. You know, but there is a lot of work, man. There's some work. You know, you talked about that. It's some hard work. You
Really
know,
hard.
yeah, being honest with yourself. It's like the hardest work on the planet. You know, in my
Oh,
opinion, for me, being honest with myself was hands down the single hardest thing I've ever done in my entire life. Nothing
oh,
will come close to
absolutely.
that. Yeah, nothing
Mhm.
will, because I literally thought I was this, but the reality was, nope, you're that, bro. Like it was
Wow.
designed to introduce me to who I really was, and not just like, oh, you're just a big screw up, bro. But like, no, then now I'm aware of it, I acknowledge it, I can admit it, and I can work on it. You know, and keep
Yeah.
moving forward, and then, you know, that self-respect, that self-love started to come back. It wasn't like instant for me, you know. It wasn't, but today I have a healthy love and respect for myself, you know, all because of this
Yeah.
process of recovery. It's awesome. It's awesome.
Yeah,
um
same. I love that.
yeah. Okay, next question. Okay, how do you maintain your sobriety?
I maintain my sobriety several ways. Mainly like keeping a routine.
Hmm.
Like having a routine is really important to me. Um, I basically do the same thing every morning. I wake up, I work out, I meditate, I journal. I have the same thing for breakfast every morning. Like, I, like if I have like a little ritual, if I stick to my ritual, then I just feel so safe and comforted, you know. And it's
Yeah.
like that's my day. Like I feel it just gives me so much confidence to confidence in myself.
Uh-huh.
Um, yeah, also meditation helps me maintain my sobriety. I, I, a little bit kind of transferred my addiction onto meditation. Like when I was, oh man, when I was in like early sobriety, I was meditating for like 2, 3 hours a day. Like it was obsessive.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, meditation is really, really important to me. It kind of brings me closer to myself, and yeah, and also just learning to keep on learning, continuing to learn keeps me sober. Like, I do a lot of self-healing work. I read a lot of books, and that helps me get closer to myself, understand myself more. Like the work's never done. You know,
Right.
like for me to maintain my sobriety, I need to keep on learning. I need to keep on digging. Um, to keep on top of it, you know, and keep on learning new things about myself. And I just feel that if I have a good relationship with myself, then my that's my sobriety safe, you know.
Yeah.
Um, among other things, like I know that a lot of my addiction issues stem down to self-loathing. So
Hmm.
if I maintain a healthy relationship with myself, then my sobriety can also be maintained. Um,
Okay.
and then also just not fucking isolating myself.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Like
Yeah. Yeah.
that helps me stay sober.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. Sometimes I feel myself getting a bit reclusive. Like I'm just not going to talk to anyone for a while. Like by not isolating myself, keeping in touch with my family and friends, and going outside, like just it doesn't even necessarily have to be with nature, but just kind of like just going for a walk, like even if it's
Mhm.
just a walk, like being outside. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then just like I just heaps of journaling, like writing down my thoughts,
Yeah.
saying what I want, what I don't want. Yeah.
Yeah.
Those
Oh,
are
right
the
on.
things that keep me sober.
Right on. Okay, so some of these questions were similar to the ones I was going to ask you too, but
Mm-hmm.
let's see, where is it? Okay, this next one is from one of the viewers is what would you try to do if you did relapse? Hopefully it never happens.
If I did relapse,
Whoa, whoa, first, have you ever relapsed? Let's answer that one first.
no,
Okay.
no,
Okay.
no,
Okay.
not yet. Yeah, no, I've never relapsed, thankfully. If I was to relapse, do you know what I like? I don't know what that Abby is gonna do. Like, I don't know her. Like,
Yeah.
she's a fucking crazy woman. Like, she's unpredictable. She doesn't give a shit. She'll hurt everyone around her. Um, yeah,
Mm.
like it depends, like the severity of the relapse. Like
Right.
if I just went, oh fuck it, and went on like a 6 month bender, like it might be a little bit different if I one night. I think throughout my recovery, throughout my journey, I've been open and honest with my
Mhm.
support network, because I wasn't when I was in active addiction. I hid everything. I hid the amount I was drinking. I hid the fact that I was taking hard drugs. I hid my depression, like fucking posting pictures on Instagram, being all like, "Ew," like I was dying inside.
Uh-huh.
So I would be, but once I got sober, but I told all my family and friends, I was just like, shit, like I'm in a really dark place. Like I'm really, like things are really, really bad, but I want to change. So if I relapsed, like I'd carry on that kind of theme. I'd be honest and
Okay.
open with my support network. I'd be
Hmm.
like, look, fucking relapse.
Uh,
um,
that would make a
yeah.
great
Also,
reel.
yeah, yeah. Wow, I have a lot of content now. That. Um, yeah, yeah. I'd be honest with the people around me.
Yeah,
I'd probably
that's
tell my
good.
followers as well, to be honest.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
You
Okay.
know.
So real quick, there's a question. Okay, Fig Tree, it's for me. He's asking, what drugs were you on when you saw the blue dots? I was on vodka and cocaine for probably like a day, but I was been doing it for 20 years. Um, okay, oh Abby, okay, this is the next one. So do you think the pandemic made things easier? I like this question.
I think it did for me
Mhm.
personally. Like, I mean, the pandemic has affected people in so many different ways, positive and negative. Um, for me, the pandemic was good for my sobriety. It helped my sobriety. It gave me time and space to heal. It gave me privacy. It gave me, yeah, just like just the space to heal.
Mhm.
So all my friends, like my close friends, my old friends who were part of my kind of recovery support network, they were all like, no one could meet up in real life. Everyone was doing Zoom
Yeah.
parties. Like every Friday night, all my mates would get on Zoom. Um, so I was able to have a social life with my friends. Like,
Mhm.
like if it wasn't, if I didn't get sober in the pandemic, like I wouldn't be able to go out, like for, I don't know, maybe the first 6 months or something. I wouldn't be able to go to the bar with my friends, because
Mhm.
like I just, like I'm sure many people are the same. Like I wouldn't be able to be in that environment, you
Right.
know. Um, but during the pandemic, yeah, my friends were all meeting on Zoom, so I still got to have a social life, and I got to stay connected
Uh-huh.
to the people, and I
Yeah.
got to check with people. So yeah,
That's
that was
I like that. That's great. I love that you said that you got to stay connected. You
yeah.
know, in like my 12 step program in treatment with like the clients, that's the thing. I always I'm so repetitive with them. Get connected and stay
Hmm.
connected. I've never heard
Hmm.
of anybody that has relapsed and said, "Nope, I stayed connected." None of them. 100%
Yeah.
of them said, "I disconnected." You know,
Hmm.
so got to
Yeah.
be something to it, you know?
Yeah.
But that's a great question, you know, about the pandemic,
Mm.
because I started this page on Instagram because of the pandemic. It
Yeah.
started with an idea of helping other people, because I thought about myself for
Hmm.
decades and only me. That's all I cared about, was me and how I feel and my pleasures, what I want to do. So it started off with an idea, and then you know it led me to going live with you now, Abby, with many other people. And then you know we
Hmm.
got recovery clothing, we got a YouTube channel, we're a nonprofit now. You know, it just started off with one idea of thinking about you and not thinking about me, because I am the
Hmm.
problem. My thinking is what brought me into my 12-step program. It is my thinking, my cognition. It wasn't the drink, the drug and alcohol. It was always my solution, always,
Hmm.
100% of the time.
Hmm.
Never was my problem, you know. But I like
Yeah.
that question. Let me see. So there's more over here. Okay, Abby, this is not necessarily a question, but I'll read it to you. This is kind of
Okay.
along the lines of the last question I was going to ask you. So it says, um, it's from, what is that? Yes, sir, Mikey. It says, I can't stop blaming myself or forgive myself for where it led me, and I am constantly comparing myself with others who don't have the same problem and where they are now with their lives. So this person is looking for some encouragement, basically.
Mhm.
I think it's not wasn't really a question.
Yeah.
You want to speak on that?
Well, I'd say focus on yourself. Like, it's okay to be selfish in that way, you know? It's okay to do that and to focus on yourself, not what everyone else is doing. And everyone's got their own journey. Everyone's going down everyone's got their own story. Everyone's doing their own, they've got their own timelines of when they're doing stuff. Focus on yourself and just what you're doing. Um, like shame and guilt is such a difficult thing going through recovery because
Mhm.
it's just so
Yes.
significant, so
Yeah.
significant. But but you can learn to forgive yourself. Like when I find the best way to overcome shame and forgive yourself is to talk to yourself like you would your best friend.
Hmm.
Like, as in, when I was in active addiction, I spoke to myself like I was my worst fucking enemy. I mean, like, you're shit. Like, you're never going to do anything. Like, you're a failure. Everyone hates you, including me. Like literally, just talk to myself like I would someone I fucking hated. Now I'm in sobriety. I talk to myself like my best friend. Like, I give myself love, and I'm patient and kind to myself, and that's yeah, that's how you can stop comparing yourself to others,
Yeah.
and you can help move on past the guilt and the shame.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I totally agree with you on that one because like if I don't know if this person is still here, but that was a
Mhm.
great, take on that and a good word of encouragement. I'm for me personally, I understand the blaming yourself thing, not
Mm.
forgiving. For me, it wasn't until I offered and accepted my own forgiveness that I was able
Mhm.
to truly grow in my sobriety, really. And then this thing of comparing, I mean, that's the wrong thought that was entertained. I used to do this in
Mm.
recovery. I used to do this too. I used to go, wow, I used to compare my recovery with that person's one and go, oh,
Mm.
hey, bro, you're not doing it right. Look, you're supposed to do this. You're not supposed to do that. All of a sudden, I'm in my lane. Now I'm in this other person's lane. So,
Yeah.
I'm going to crash. If nobody's driving my car, I'm going to crash.
Hmm.
And I have crashed many times, but I have learned to stay in my lane. But it takes time. It takes practice. It's not an overnight matter, these types of things.
Hmm.
It does. It takes
Hmm.
time and it takes effort. We have to be intentional about a recovery. We're not going to accidentally
Yeah.
get sober. We're not going to accidentally stay sober. It has to be
Yeah.
intentional. So let's go. There's more questions over
Right.
here. Um, okay. Let's see. Okay. Okay. Is it normal to think about going back? Because it's my biggest struggle.
Oh my God, I think about it all the time. Like, yeah, all the time. I dream about partying like a couple of times a week, actually. I do think about it. Look, like they're intrusive thoughts. Like it's part of like an authentic human experience having intrusive thoughts,
Right.
um and thinking about going back is just one of those like I know I'm not like I don't actually want to go back, and I know I'm not going to go back. Like I genuinely don't have a desire to go back, but it doesn't stop me from thinking about it.
Mhm.
And yeah, I think just maybe just one more time. Or like, I'm so comfortable in my sobriety. I could definitely have one night where I just go fucking nuts. Um,
Yeah.
but I know that's not how I really feel. And I know it's an intrusive thought. I know it's just a natural
Mhm.
thought that's into my head. And I like acknowledge that as something that I don't actually want. It's not an actual desire of mine. And then I just bat it away. I'm like, oh, come on. If
Yeah.
I have one drink, that's going to lead me down a dark path of depression.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like I believe, like, in regards to that question, I believe that
Mm-hmm.
like having those thoughts, it's totally normal. I used to have them. Then I started having these, drinking and using dreams, and
Mm-hmm.
stuff. And, even like, this is my thought. about it. My thoughts on this is like okay, this addiction, I believe it to be an illness, a disease. That's what I believe. And
Mhm.
so if like I got into recovery, I started doing I started taking some suggestions and following some directions basically, because I couldn't even run my own life. So somebody had to teach me. And you know, like this disease, it couldn't get me to drink or use, or to have some old behaviors come back and me to live in that. So when I was unconscious, it couldn't get me when I was conscious. It'll try to get me when I'm unconscious. Like that's how I would think of it. You know, so just like awareness, being aware of these things. But to answer, or to kind of, you know, answer that question, it's totally normal. Like trust me, you're not alone.
Mhm.
Like Abby still
Mhm.
has them. you
Oh my
know,
god, yeah.
you
And it's
know.
like I totally accept that I probably will do forever. It's
Yeah.
like, have you ever been on like the top of like been like on a cliffside or something on the top of like
Yes.
a cliff and being like, oh, you know what, I could just jump. Like you're not actually gonna do it, but you can be like, did you ever do that? And you just think, oh, I could jump. Like it's an intrusive thought. Like it's not. It doesn't
Yeah.
mean that. You know.
Yeah. Like, you
Yeah.
know, it's somebody told me once, it's not the thought that comes and goes, it's the thought that comes and stays. So got to be
Yeah.
careful with that. If we it stays in our mind and we keep thinking about it, it's inevitable. You know, whatever the thought may be, you know, it's going to happen. Our thoughts are things. I thought my way into being a drug addict and an alcoholic. You know,
Mhm.
that's just the reality of it. But let's see. Did I miss anybody's question? Uh, okay, somebody got 3 years clean and sober from Xanax. Yeah, it wasn't a question.
Amazing. Congrats.
Um, okay, okay. This person is not. It's not a addiction related question, but this person is asking, "What's your zodiac sign?"
I am Scorpio moon, Scorpio sun, and Aries rising.
Oh
So my
man, you really knew that. You just spit it right out.
oh my god, I love astrology.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
I love astrology. But my sun sign is Scorpio, so that's like the one that people go by.
Mhm.
But, yeah, but my moon is also Scorpio, which means I'm fucking nuts. Um,
Let's see. Let's see. Did I miss anybody's question? Oh, let's see. Okay, we got down, we did down, we did down, okay, yeah, we did all those. Okay. Oh wait, there's one new one. It just popped up. Um, okay, just the question. So, Abby, and it says Abby with the emoji with hearts all around the smiley face.
oh, cute.
Do you have any advice for dealing with borderline? I'm not sure exactly what that means.
Oh, borderline personality disorder.
Oh, okay, boom.
Just what did I have? Um, therapy. Like it's the only way to treat it. Like, if you are struggling with borderline, like go see a doctor, definitely.
Uh-huh.
Like if you've lost control of like being able to regulate your emotions, like go see a professional, go into therapy. You know, if that's not an option for you, journaling. You know, like journaling is such a great way um to do self therapy. Writing a gratitude journal, like
Mm-hmm.
just writing your thoughts and feelings down every day, even if it's just like a little bit, you know, it's just working through what you're thinking. And the thing with borderline personality disorder, like it's impossible to regulate your emotions. You've really got to get a handle on it. That's what I have difficulty with, like myself. But it's manageable. I've learned to manage it, and yeah, I would say yeah, do some. You need to get to know yourself, you know,
Yeah,
and journaling is
absolutely.
a great way to do that.
Yeah, yeah. And then my friend Tiff wrote. She said, "I think everyone should have a therapist." And like, I agree with that, man. Like, you know, prior to
Definitely.
getting sober, I was like, why will I ever pay somebody to tell me what's wrong with me? I already know what's wrong with me, and you know. And then it wasn't
Mm.
until I got exposed to like, first thing was sponsorship in my 12-step program. And he's not like an actual therapist, but just the idea of letting everything out of me and
Yeah.
talking to somebody, just that in itself was
Mm-hmm.
so much healing came from just that. I believe that, from the overflow of our hearts, our mouth will speak. Our mouth is the valve to relieve the pressure from our hearts. I believe that. And it's
Mm-hmm.
out of my own experience. It's not like I read it in a book somewhere, but out of my own experiences, like I can say that with conviction that, Tiff, I agree with you. Like, we all need somebody that we absolutely trust, that we can tell our deep, dark secrets to, and they will not at a later date turn around and use it against us,
Mm-hmm.
and just
That's it.
safe. I have that in my wife. I tell her everything. She knows.
Mm.
She knew everything about me before we got married. Like, before she physically met me, I told her, oh, I did this, I did drugs, I was that, I named her. I was like, and then I was like, okay. Yeah. I told her all these
That's
things about
beautiful.
me. I was on it because at
Mm.
that point in my life, I was only like 5 months sober, but I learned how to
Yeah.
be honest at that point with myself.
Yeah.
So I had no problem doing that with other people. So I was like,
Yeah.
okay, let me just try and be honest and see how that works out with this girl.
Yeah.
you know.
So
And
important.
yeah, she became my wife, and now she's the mother of my son.
Oh, I
So
love that. That's
yeah,
beautiful.
yeah. Okay. Anybody else have any questions at all before we wrap this up? I have one more question though, but let me double check this, Abby, real quick. Okay, no. Okay, there's no new ones there. Okay, Abby. The last question I will ask you before I let you go, um, is what would you say to encourage somebody that's trying to get sober right now? What would you tell them?
Um, I'd say, how I was saying before about talking to yourself like you would a best friend.
Mhm.
Like, that is like the biggest advice that I can give to someone who's going sober is to be kind to yourself.
Mhm.
Be self-compassionate. Like, it's once you make friends with yourself, that's the first hurdle. Talk to yourself kindly, trust yourself, and be your own best friend. It is a process and it takes time. You can't just wake up one morning and be like, huh, I'm gonna love myself today. It's a very, very long journey, and it's a process, but
Yeah.
it starts with you, and treat yourself with kindness and be patient with yourself. You don't have to have it all figured out tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like,
No.
yeah, like,
Yeah.
yeah, be patient with yourself and recognize it as a process, because it's baby steps, but you'll
Yeah.
get there. You'll get
Absolutely.
there.
So, Jade, I think Radcliffe, you still have a question? I know it says that you have one, but you never actually said it. If there's time, if you can spit it out there, then we can answer it real quick, or Abby can answer it. There's a little question about the heart to the left of it. You can just write it in the comments if you can't find it. Okay. Yeah. Go ahead. You can ask the question. Yeah. Go ahead. I'm like, it's all the
Oh,
suspense is killing me.
oh, hi. I've just seen who it is. Hi, Jay. You're right.
Okay, for someone struggling with loneliness, do you think that inpatient would be too hard? Loneliness and addiction.
Oh, inpatient. Um, I, do you know what? I don't know if I have enough experience with being an inpatient to like answer that truthfully, But I think um you won't be like you're an inpatient, though you won't be completely isolated, you know. There are obviously people there to look after you and professionals to look
Right.
after you. Um, like, yeah. Like I said, I don't think I have enough experience to answer properly. But I don't know. Again, like working to help with loneliness is to become friends with yourself. Going back to that theme,
Right.
that's one way to beat loneliness, is to get to know yourself and start the process of becoming friends with you.
Yeah. And you know, like, I mean, if you struggle with loneliness, and you know, if you're in an inpatient, you know, treatment center, like there's other people there, you know. I mean, I understand even with people around, we can still feel lonely.
Yeah.
But like working in treatment, when people have like these kind of symptoms and this, that, whatever, they're lonely, whatever, heartbroken, they're dying, whatever it is, when they hear, when we do groups and then other people are sharing, this is something like this person is afraid to talk about, but that person over there shared something and they can relate to it, and they don't feel like that anymore. They don't feel alone. Wow, I did the same thing. I thought I was the only one. You know, it can be
Yeah.
scary, but it is also very beneficial. I didn't go to treatment myself. I tried to get into treatment. I ended up going into a sober living and 12-step program. But I work in treatment now, so I get to see all these things, you know, with my own eyes. So yeah, thank you guys so much. But that basically that wraps it up, man. Like that 1 hour went by like that,
Yeah, it did,
you
didn't
know.
it?
Yeah, it did. But once again, Abby, thank you so much. I really appreciate you doing this and
Oh,
taking
it's
the
my
time out
pleasure.
to share with all of us. You know, you're inspiration to a lot of women. I've been going through the comments and everything and seeing that. And you know, keep doing the humor thing. It's great. I mean, I'm a big supporter of that. You know, we can't
Yeah,
take life so serious. You know, it's that's
definitely.
I believe like you can do that today. That's a sign of growth. You can do that today. You know,
Definitely.
so I really
Absolutely.
appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate you too.
Alrighty, I'll speak to you soon.
Okay, I'll speak to you soon.
Okay, bye, Abby.
See ya. Bye.
Bye.